This video was recorded live before a canned studio audience. It's Friday Night Movie Reviews, and here they are, Chris and Keith.
Hi, I'm Keith.
I'm Chris.
And this is Friday Night Movie Reviews. Thank you for joining us. We are, as we've been saying in the last couple of videos, we're back. We've had some issues come up in life and life itself. So, we haven't been around and we haven't been recording any videos and we haven't really been seeing very much that was out there worth seeing. Even though there are movies coming out in the theaters, there's not a whole lot out there that's worth spending your money or time on.
Yeah, it's like we got out of the summer movies and they just went poof,
yeah,
and everything disappeared.
Everything good just kind of ran off.
Because we were like, oh, our calendar's like full of movies. We're going to see one, every week.
And we'd go and see them, and then we'd be on the way home. I don't really know if we want to review this one.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Right. And I know, we know you guys like to hear us, kind of take a dump on movies sometimes, and you like to hear us really rattle on some, but some of these movies that we went to see were just, they weren't even worth taking a crap on.
Well, and two, there's other people out there that are doing it, so
right.
By all means, go watch their reviews where they dump on the film.
Because that's the way we felt about it too.
Yeah, it just, I think it's unanimous. I don't think people were praising some of these movies that we saw and just were like, no, it's not worth our time.
Right.
It just.
And for a lot of times we kind of go against the grain.
We do.
Some reviewers will review a movie and they'll hate it and we'll like it, and then they'll review a movie and they'll hate it, and they'll like it and we'll hate it. So we kind of go against the grain sometimes. But with some of these movies that have been coming out, they've been pretty much on the mark with us. So
yeah, it's been unanimous. Like there's not really people that were singing the praise, and that's a pretty bad sign because I always send Keith like alternative views to other people that reviewed these movies just to kind of get an idea about what's out there that maybe we could say differently or whatever.
But they weren't alternative views.
No, this time they were saying exactly what we were thinking, and that's bad. Like,
right.
I'm always trying to find opposing views, to kind of go against or, kind of bring up in our own reviews. But I was like, I can't do it this time. There's just not enough meat on them bones to talk about. So I was like, nah, let's not waste our time or energy because, nobody's going to watch it anyway. So it's like, I'm like, all right.
So with this, with the movie that we're going to review tonight, this is part of I would say this is part of our Halloween collection, but there really haven't been very many movies come out
for their Halloween movies
for the Halloween thing.
This is really the main one for the season, which is kind of odd.
This has been when you think about it, this has been a really dry season for horror films.
Yeah, and that's the reason why they moved Mortal Kombat out of October, because it's not a Halloween movie, and they should have moved Five Nights at Freddy's up to where Mortal Kombat was instead of showing it in December.
Yeah.
But in case you're wondering, and if the title didn't spoil it, we are reviewing Black Phone 2.
Black Phone 2.
The sequel to the Universal movie, Black Phone. Starring Ethan Hawke.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not exactly my favorite actor, but I actually like him as a villain. So I'll just say that right off the bat.
He had a very distinctive voice in this. It was. I won't get too much into it right now. We'll get into that later. This film is like other horror films. You do not want to take kids to see it. If you take your kids to see this movie, there's something wrong with you. Because this movie is actually, we'll kind of get into the basic premise of what it is, but this one is definitely not for kids. The language in it, there's some disrespect from younger people to adults in this one, and there's just, it's blood, guts, and gore.
Yeah, it's one of those types. This is not a PG-13 movie. This is rated R. I will say that this movie, its opening was already bigger than the original film, which is a good sign of maybe this is becoming a franchise. Maybe it's the next horror franchise to rise, because you know, Freddy, Jason, all of them have kind of run their course, even though they're trying to like milk those for whatever's left in there, and it's not a lot.
Right.
So we kind of need some new horror icons to pop up, basically, and
this one might.
Maybe the Grabber's the one to go to.
Maybe the Grabber is.
And Universal, they are the original pioneers of horror. They they were Dracula, Mummy, all of them. Like it's them.
The classic monsters. So don't take your kids to see it when it comes out on streaming or on video. If you watch it at home, don't let your kids walk into the room to catch glimpses of it or whatever. Just keep the kids away from it and just kind of guard them against it. The basic premise of the movie is you really don't have to see the first one in order to make this one make sense, because they kind of go back a little bit and explain some things from the first movie. I did not see the first one. My wife didn't see the first one. We went and saw this together, and it made sense to us. So Chris here did see the first one.
They did, and what I thought was neat was they harkened back to what they used to do like in the 70s and 80s, where they would tell you enough from the original movie if you didn't see it in theaters, because back then they didn't have rentals or streaming or anything like that. So if you missed Friday the 13th Part 1, in Part 2, they're going to show you like the last 15 minutes of the movie.
Right.
And Black Phone did it a little bit better than how they did it in the 80s, where they give you enough exposition, give you a little bit of a flashback to kind of tell you who the Grabber was and what happened in the first film with the characters. And it was very well done. I was like, okay, that's smart, because a lot of people probably did skip the first one. I've been talking to people about it, and they're like, oh, I was worried about seeing the second one because I thought the first one was boring. I can tell you that this is a different film from the first one.
I like I said, I haven't seen the first one, but this one, from what I've heard and seen from the first movie, this one is totally different. One of the things that I liked about this movie is when they would go to a flashback. This movie is set during the 80s.
Yep.
During the early 80s, like during 1982, I think it is.
And the first one took place in the late 70s.
So when they do show a flashback or some kind of other sequence that's not part of the present happenings in the film, it gets very grainy, like an old 1970s film that's filmed with like one of the old-timey video cameras.
Yeah.
And when I say old-timey video cameras, I don't mean a video camera from the 80s. I'm talking about the old reel-to-reel cameras from the 70s.
8. Yeah, like a Super 8.
Yeah.
It definitely had like that 80 millimeter, like in a drive-in grainy, where you'd have like streaks in the film.
Streaks and the little film dots and stuff like that. Yeah.
It had that, and it took away. It allowed you to have more of immersion into the film. Right. Because the problem with modern films in general is they look too crisp, they look too clean, because everything's digital.
Crisp and clean.
This did not look digital.
This didn't.
And even the scenes that don't take place in flashbacks, they keep it kind of like in a more darker setting, to where you lose a lot of that crispness, and your eyes are really having to really focus on what's going on. And I really like that, because I'm like, finally, I'm like, okay, I feel like I could be in the 70s or 80s while watching this movie.
Right.
And kudos to the director, because he directed the first one, he directed this one. I want more of this. Like, to get away from that digital crisp look to a film, I mean, I like it for certain things, but for like horror movies, especially when I want to be immersed in what I'm watching, it helps.
Right.
And so I applaud what they did.
Yeah. So the basic premise of the movie is, Ethan Hawke is the Grabber, and the Grabber is dead, supposedly, but he comes back. And when he comes back, he's going after the main character that survived the first movie, who is the one who killed him.
Yep.
in the first film. Now, we're not giving anything away here because you can gather all of this from the trailer. So he's going after him, but he's not only going after him, he's also going after his sister. And they have to somehow overpower him because he's coming to them through their dreams.
Yep, and it's like they're being summoned to this place that you see in the snow and the ice. So they're literally having to figure out the mystery of why is the grabber back? Why is he a ghost now? Why is he coming at me through my dreams? Why am I being drawn to this place in the snow?
Yeah, why has he brought us here?
So it had
this place.
So it had a really nice mystery to it.
Right.
And that was a nice element. So besides it being a horror film, it's also a mystery film. It's a suspense film.
Right. And it does have some very creepy elements to it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's part of the premise of this movie is, and you probably get this from the first movie, the grabber's a child killer.
Yeah, he's a serial killer that kills specifically children.
That specifically kills kids. That's another reason why you don't need to let your kids watch this one. And in this one, the kids actually come back and talk to the main character.
Because they have, minor spoiler, the mother had the ability to see the dead, kind of like, I see dead people kind of thing.
Kind of like that.
Well, her children, the boy and the girl, both they can talk to ghosts. And the whole thing about the black phone in the first one is he would answer the phone and a dead person would talk to him, and it helped guide him to get him out of that situation out of the first movie.
Right.
So there's a different set of ghosts in this one that are guiding them throughout the film.
Right, and it's kind of a different mission. The ghosts have a different mission with this one, and we're not going to spoil that because that's a major plot line.
Oh, absolutely.
So, just kind of let's give everybody a brief synopsis of what we actually thought about this movie, because the main question is this movie worth your cash or is it trash?
Okay, well,
so what did you think about it?
I really liked it. I'm glad I saw this one in theater. I did not see the original one in theater. I saw it on streaming on Amazon Prime later on. And I believe the first one still is there. You can go back and watch the first one on Amazon. And I imagine this one will be too after it's run in theater. Mm-hmm. But the film was good. I enjoyed it. I actually liked this one more than the first one, to be honest with you. Making him more of a Freddy Krueger-esque ghost type character, it was the right way to go with the franchise.
Right.
Because the problem with the first one is he was a living, breathing person, serial killer. And it's like, okay, that's been done before. We want something different. I mean, yes, I know that, like, okay, well, you just said, it's been done before, but Freddy Krueger's been done before. Well, he's not exactly like Freddy Krueger. I should make that be known.
Right. So don't think you're going into it to see another Freddy Krueger film and it's going to be boring like that. No.
Because, he can affect the outside world just as much as he can the inside.
Exactly.
So he's not like Freddy Krueger.
Exactly.
So there is a difference there.
Right.
So I want to put that to rest right now because I have been seeing the comparisons online to that.
Right.
So it is still new and fresh, and I do appreciate how they filmed the movie by making it look like an older film instead of all this digital stuff.
That was great.
The soundtrack, the music they played in it was appropriate for the time that the film took place.
Right, they played old 80s music. It was great.
I enjoyed the music, like the soundtrack alone. That's really what kind of helps out a movie a lot of the times is the soundtrack. Tonally, the movie's fun all the way through. Like, you still have some brevity in the film that makes you have like little moments of laughter because you're so tense and tight through most of it because there's like some really suspenseful moments in the film.
There really are.
And they kind of keep you at your edge. So you need that brevity every now and then to break it up. But they take the movie seriously.
Yeah, it's not too much. It doesn't like water it down.
And you don't have to worry about Ethan Hawke playing him like a goofy Freddy Krueger character. He's still very serious. He's not making quips.
And he's not like Freddy Krueger. Hey, no running in the hallways. So it's not like that.
There's none of that.
He's very creepy, and I mean, just his voice through the mask is.
Yeah, he sounds like this when he talks, and it sounds very creepy.
It's just
And, you know, and good for him is he just gets to sit in a sound booth now, where he was an active actor in the first one. Now he just can be in a sound booth because it could be a stuntman in the suit.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But I enjoyed it visually. It was nice to look at. Again, you know, the regular score of the movie, the music they use in the background when they're not using 80s music was appropriate. You know, I'm always like, it takes me out of it when they like pick like weird music that doesn't fit tonally with the film.
Exactly. Yeah, it really does. But the music in this, as far as the outside of the orchestral music, the soundtrack for this was really great and fit very well with the film because they picked actual songs from the time period.
Oh yeah, and they did their homework, and it wasn't like from like late 80s or anything like that. This was the music that would have occurred during the time of the movie takes place. Ethan Hawke, I'm not a big fan of him at all. In fact, even when he was a kid, I didn't like his acting. But I like him in this as a villain. He's actually really good in this, and I hope he continues to. If they somehow are able to come up with another script for Black Phone 3, I hope he returns because, again, something about his voice in that mask, it just puts chills down your spine, you know?
It really did. You, of all people, should know that dead is not really dead. I mean, it was just, it would send chills up your spine.
Yep.
It was really
And they used him exactly when they needed to, so they don't overthrow him at you in this film. So he's in it just the right amount that he needs to be. The pacing of the film's okay at parts. I say that the film could have been a little bit shorter. Typically, I like horror movies to be around an hour and 30, similar to a comedy. So they could have trimmed it here and there a little bit. So some of the pacing sometimes is not where I'd like it to be. But the pacing in this one, I can say, is better than the first film. So,
well, I think they made the pacing like it was because they thought not very many people had gone to see the first one. And they were seeing the second one for the first, for the first time in this.
And that may be, so I can forgive it for that. But that's really my only real like critique of the film.
Right.
As far as the other actors in the film, I like them. You know, the boy and the girl, they're both fine. The boyfriend of the girl, he's kind of more like the comic relief character.
Yeah. But he does get really serious there in some parts.
I know.
Yeah.
So he doesn't fall into that like, oh, he's just purely there to be a comic relief. He actually does serve a purpose.
Right.
All the adult characters in it, I even like I didn't like so much the dad in the first one, but the dad one really redeemed himself in this one.
Yeah.
I just, the acting all around, they did a great job in casting. So
they really did.
I had no complaints as far as that. So I enjoyed the movie. So what did you think of it?
I enjoyed it for all the reasons that you just said. Now, of course, I didn't see the first one, so I don't have anything to compare to. But as far as like horror films overall, you know me, I don't really like slasher films too much. I'm not into that kind of thing too much. I like more, if it's going to be a horror film, I want it to have a storyline. This actually had a storyline, and it had a storyline that you could grab hold of. It had a story that kind of jerked at your heartstrings a little bit in certain parts.
It did.
And I really enjoyed that aspect of the film. It was scary when it needed to be. It was very briefly funny when it needed to be.
Yep.
It was just overall creepy. And I really enjoyed that. And like you said with the casting, I enjoyed the casting of it. I thought the return of the characters, although I didn't see the first one, I thought the return of the characters that did come back was great. And I mean, it's just overall, I think as far as horror films go, this one to me is like right there at the top.
Yeah.
Right there at the top with some of the others that have been around, like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street.
It definitely was a return to form, which I think has been sorely missing from most horror movies. Now, there are exceptions here and there, so don't get me wrong. It's just like ever since the 80s ended, like the 90s, the 2000s, and now into the era that we're in now, there's been very few that have really thematically held up to where horror should be.
Right.
And this one was nice, and I have to give it to the director. I hope if they do a Black Phone 3 that he's going to come back and do the third one.
Yeah.
Because I tonally want it to stay the same because
I want some continuity with it because and I think changing directors or changing writers or both or changing anything else. I want everything to stay the same because that will add to the continuity of it. And I think that's what this, if they turn this into a franchise, I think that's what needs to happen.
Yep. And I do have my theories about how they can do a third one, but I don't want to. I can't because it would spoil this. It
would spoil this film,
so I can't go into that. Sorry.
So how many sodas would you give this one?
This one's a good solid 8 for me. Like I really enjoyed it. Like this is one that I would watch again. Especially with it being the Halloween season that it is. Like this one I could put on gladly and be like, all right, this one holds up with Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, Chucky.
Right.
You know, I can easily say that the Grabbers are now part of that group.
Right, so. Yeah, I agree. I would probably give this, a solid 8. A solid 8 popcorns. How many bowls of rice would you give it, babe?
8.
8? All right, so she's right there with us. So you got 3 8s. 3 bowls, you got 8 bowls of rice, you got 8 sodas, and 8 bowls of popcorn. So you know what? You got some really good food going on there. So the answer to the question, is it worth your cash or was it trash? I would definitely say that this movie right here is definitely worth your cash. And if you can still find this movie in your theater, which you probably can, I would suggest that you go and see it.
Oh, yeah, because it's better with an audience.
It really is.
There's something about the movie theater experience that really enhances horror movies for the most part.
Right.
This one is no exception. And believe me, the audience that I saw it with, they had a good time with it.
Yeah,
so,
and my wife, she screamed a few times and apologized to me and everybody else around her for screaming because it really got to her too. It was great. It was fun. I really had a lot of fun with it. Hey, look. That's our cue to go.
Yep. Remember to like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel out if you can because we want to continue to give you good content. Remember to hit that bell notification for when our next video drops. Leave us a comment. What did you think of Black Phone 2 and the original? Let us know. I'd love to hear your comments on it. And what are your thoughts on maybe possibly a third film in the franchise? Either way, we'd love to hear from you. And as always, thank you for watching.
Right. Please comment because we really like to respond to you guys. We like to know that you're watching the videos and we like to know that we're actually making a difference out there in the world of movie watching. So, you know what? Look, you guys go and see this movie because it's really great for the spirit of Halloween. This really gets into it. You'll definitely be creeped out. You'll scream, you'll laugh, and you may even cry a little bit. So grab some friends together, grab some of your family members, don't take your kids, remember, and listen, when you go and you sit down, you grab your popcorn, you got your soda there, maybe you got your bowls of rice, you're sitting, you're watching this movie, remember, enjoy your movie.